Protests continue this week after George Floyd died in police custody in Minneapolis.
We've asked Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims to join us this morning via Skype to talk to us. Thank you for being with us this morning, Sheriff.
Oh, you're welcome. Good morning.
Hey, I wanted to ask, we've seen peaceful protests. We've also seen looting taking place, and it just seems to underscore the importance of the relationship between law enforcement and the people that they protect. For your department, you guys cover a lot of ground, physically a lot of ground. How do you develop those personal relationships?
Well, it's really important for deputies to make sure that they communicate appropriately with our community. First of all, there aren't many deputy sheriffs out there. And so it's vital for them to be able to effectively do their jobs to get community cooperation. Now, what community policing means, the very basic definition is you work with the community to solve problems. It's not a special program. It's not a special unit within an agency. It involves everybody in the agency, from the person who picks up the phone to the person at a lobby desk. It involves the whole agency, and all it means is you work closely with your community to solve problems.
And how are you working with the Fresno Police Department specifically during these times?
Well, specifically, I want to first commend Chief Hall on what he and his agency are doing. He is very plain speaking. You can tell when he speaks, it's from the heart. He means it. He has a heart for the community, and he's done a great job. With that said, we have to be prepared for violence. And we worked very closely with him to make sure that he's got resources, including from the sheriff's office, should he need them. However, I want to commend the people organizing the protests and the police department and the city. I've reached out to community leaders. I think the pre-planning for this really helped the protests last Sunday to be very peaceful. And remember, we've got three groups of people here that are involved. We have peaceful protesters who have righteous complaints and practice their First Amendment rights, and that's very understandable. Then we have the criminals who want to loot and steal and break windows. And then we have the mobile Antifa groups. Their job is to just create chaos. And we have to prepare if any of those groups show up in Fresno.
And I was going to follow up on that. Have you seen any evidence of that last group, Antifa, being active in Fresno County?
We know that there were traveling Antifa groups here in Fresno. However, because of the planning that happened for the protests, the cooperation, they did not act out.
When we are talking about community policing and right now race relations between communities and law enforcement, are there increased efforts, or have there always been, to make sure that part of the recruitment process includes people of color, not just black, but brown and everybody?
Yes. In fact, whenever we have a swearing-in ceremony, as I look across our new hires, I'm very encouraged by the diversity that I see. It's very difficult to get young African American men and women to want to be involved in law enforcement. And the more we can recruit, the better. However, when you go out into the community, that's just not something that's desirable for them to be. And I think that needs to change. And it comes down with the relationship in those neighborhoods to make sure they see this as a career path. When I talk to our African American department members, they confirm with me that it's just not pushed in the communities, that's a place where young people see themselves going. And I think that's a shame.
And what do you think is the message you would like to send out to people watching right now? Is there anything you want? This is a very turbulent time. We're dealing with the coronavirus. We have the situation with George Floyd. Emotions are raw right now. What do you want to say to the people in Fresno County?
To the people in Fresno County, I want to say, first of all, that it was on its face, what happened in Minneapolis was wrong. I'm extremely disappointed in the officers that stood by and allowed this to happen. My expectation of the men and women in the Fresno County Sheriff's Office is to intervene, make sure that if you care enough about your fellow officers to answer a call with shots fired, to go into a house to serve a dangerous search warrant, you also have to care about them and stop when there's inappropriate activity going on. You might save the career, and in the case of Minneapolis, it could have saved a life.
Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it this morning.
Thank you.